Do yourself a favour before you start writing. Plan your plot. Hey guys, it's Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant and the author to the upcoming fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter. And today we'll be discussing 4 tips on how you can plot your narrative. Now, these tips come in the form of 4 questions, because as the wise philosopher Carl Jung once said, to ask the right question is already half the solution to the problem. The older I've got, the more I've come to appreciate that particular statement. But it is fair to say that when I first started writing my fantasy series over a decade ago, I did not ask the right questions. In fact, I asked many a wrong question and, surprise, surprise, came up with many a wrong answer. So after learning many painful lessons over the years, I have come up with 4 questions that can help you plot your narrative more efficiently, and it will make the writing process a little easier for you as well. Tip 1. What will your main character be like? Make no mistake, this is the most important question with regards to your narrative. The main character is the most important element of your story. It doesn't matter if your main character is James Bond, Aladdin, or Wonder Woman. His personality, ambitions, decisions, and mistakes will be the driving force of your narrative. Bottom line, your main character is the hinge on which your story rests. If he's interesting, he'll entertain your audience. If he's not, he'll bore them. And it's better to do more of the former than the latter. Not exactly a science, is it? A main character that I have recently really enjoyed reading is Shalitha from Kara S. Weaver's Crown of Conspiracy. Shalitha is headstrong, she's intelligent, she's witty, and she carries the narrative pretty much on her own, making you constantly want to turn the page. I strongly recommend you check out Kara S. Weaver's Crown of Conspiracy. That's Kara S. Weaver's Crown of Conspiracy, and the interview that I did with Kara on my blog last year. Tip 2. How many secondary characters will there be in your story, and what will their roles be? In the overwhelming majority of stories, the main character does not act alone. Yes, there are some exceptions, like the films Locke and All Is Lost, starring Tom Hardy and Robert Redford respectively, but in the overwhelming majority of stories, and particularly epic fantasy, the main character has sidekicks. It is up to you as the writer to decide how many secondary characters there will be and what roles they will play, but to give you an example of some roles that are out there, there is the mentor, like Bronn from Eragon / The Inheritance Cycle. The love interest, like Christmas Jones from the James Bond film The World Is Not Enough. The useful assistant, like Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series. And the bad influence, like Lord Henry Wotton from The Picture of Dorian Gray. No guesses as to which one of those secondary characters my favourite is. One thing that I will add about secondary characters is that they cannot just be in the story for the sake of it. They cannot be there just to revolve around the main character. No, they must be 3-dimensional in personality, have their own ambitions, be linked to the plot, and push the narrative forwards. If they don't do these things, they must be removed. Out. Tip 3. What will the villain or antagonist be like? Every hero needs a villain and every protagonist needs an antagonist. The villain is almost just as important as the main character. Sometimes the villain is so memorable, he even trumps the main character, like Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight. Writers should think very carefully about what they want from their villains in terms of personality and in terms of ambition, because there is nothing more disappointing, and I mean nothing from a narrative perspective, than when a hero finally meets the villain and the villain is lame. Please don't make that be your villain, I beg of you. Tip 4. Who is the target audience? This is one of the most important yet overlooked questions by writers when they plot their narrative, and I include myself in this. Hell, I didn't even think about my target audience until I'd done 3 drafts and got a mentor, and that was 3 years down the line. The reason that choosing your target audience is so important is because then you can tailor your language and your themes to the target audience. So, say for instance you wanted to write a dark fantasy series for an adult male audience, like George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire and Mark Lawrence's The Broken Empire trilogy, you would put in themes like good old-fashioned political intrigue, violence, and another kind of explicit content that we don't need to go into in this video. Similarly, if you wanted to write a chick flick for a young adult female audience, you may want the main character to be a girl who's in her final year of high school. She may fall in love with the good-looking guy in her year and make frenemies with her jealous classmates, like in Mean Girls and John Tucker Must Die. What? I was 17 once as well. You may be wondering at this point why we have not asked the obvious question of all. What is my plot going to be about? After all, if you're going to write the plot, surely you have to ask yourself, what is it going to be about? But actually no, and to bring back Carl Jung's statement earlier, asking yourself what is the plot is not a very good question. Instead, ask yourself, what is my main character going to be like and what are his goals? How many secondary characters will there be and what will their roles be? What will my villain/antagonist be like? And who is my target audience? Answer these questions and you will answer the question of what is the plot without even realizing it. And that is all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching and I hope you have found this video useful and interesting. Like, comment and hit the subscribe button below and then you will be the first to receive the next video in our writing tips series, which is on how to create an engaging main character. What's more, come the 2nd of July, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is going to be released, and then you can check to see whether or not I keep to my writing tips. Until next time, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.